Welcome to another episode of the Obstacle Race Magazine podcast. We are now on episode 10. I've got Kevin with me again for a little bit of a news roundup on our 10-minute Tuesdays. Kevin, you had a nice weekend?
Yes, we're very good. Nice and dry for a change. No storms this weekend.
Yeah.
But I can see the snow in a few days' time, so that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, apparently we've got some forecast for this evening. For the news this week, Spartan Trail Series is brand new. I've not been able to put this online yet, actually, because it's under embargo until the 24th, which will be, obviously, fine by the time this comes out, because it'll be Tuesday morning when you get to listen to this. They're launching into UK. Inaugural event is the 21st at Glenusk Estate, and that'll consist of a 10k and a half marathon, and then Marsden Lodge on the 12th of July, but that's just the 10k distance for that one.
So will these fit around OCR's weekends, or are they going to be separate events on separate weekends?
No, exactly. They are around OCR events, so that's the same. They're the same weekends as when the normal run-of-the-mill Spartan races are. So I'm not 100% sure how it'll work.
Would it be on the same course, just you don't do the obstacles, maybe?
Possibly, like skirt around the obstacles, down the side of the obstacles. It has listed that there will be natural obstacles, and they've put some examples like, obviously, technical terrain, hills, rivers, scrambles, log hops, and other technical terrain. So that's actually quite good. It'll mix it up for people, not just that it'll bring in, obviously, some of the trail market, the trail runners who've kind of maybe been a bit shied away from OCR, not taking it too seriously.
Will there be prize money then, what left to get those trail runners in?
There is, yes, yeah. So this all ties in with the World Spartan Trail Series, the World Championships for that, and it is a prize purse, of $270,000. So it's
so
quite
that's a global purse.
Yeah. So that's quite a significant amount of money for that, for like athletes to be in the running for.
Is this the first year for it to be in other countries then, the trail series, or has it appeared somewhere else before?
It went live in 2019, and it's already live in 5 countries. So we'll be the 6th one to adopt this new series. So it's obviously tried and tested already. Carl and his team. Carl Alsop, if you don't know him, he's one of the... I can't remember what his exact title is. He's basically the build director, but his job entails a hell of a lot more than that. He sort of looks after the logistics of everything in terms of building the courses and getting the teams together and what have you. He has got a better name than that, but to us and for maybe layman terms, he is kind of like the build director and manager of that type of things. So yeah, it's so this all these 6 countries that are now involved will all be leading up to a Trail World Championships through Spartan, which is quite cool to have the ones who take it a little bit more serious, something for them to aim for. And it just, I think it'll reignite some people's passion for the Spartan brand, the people who maybe have shied away from the OCRs for a little while.
I've got one more question.
Go.
Is it included in the Spartan season pass?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's separate, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't imagine it being, but it may be. That's worth us looking into, actually. I should have looked that up. That's a bit of a rookie mistake.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You just keep pointing out my flaws, Kevin. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I suppose it makes sense for it to be included because it's the ticket. I don't think the value's as high, so it would make sense for them to offer it up for season pass holders. And obviously, season pass holders are already getting an incredible value because they've had, what have they had? They've had Yorkshire added to it. What else did they add? Wales, yeah. So they've got loads of events to go at now, and if the trail series is also included, these two extra event dates, although it would mean that they're going to have to sort of maybe toss a coin whether they're going to go for one of the trail events or one of the OCR events that weekend, or
Both.
decide on one or the other. Obviously, they can make a weekend of it, but if they run it at the same time, they're not going to be able to do both, are they?
Yeah, Spartan seems to be expanding just at the right time.
Yeah, no, perfectly. And obviously, they've also given the leg up to Tough Mudder now. So that's got the UK Tough Mudder events back online and selling tickets again and back to where they need to be. So hopefully sales are going well for that as well, for that gamble that Spartan have taken to pay off, so that it doesn't affect sort of Spartan day-to-day running. But yeah, no, it's really good. What else have we got for you? So Ryan Atkins has signed for the Spartan Pro team. So after the debacle and unrest over the contracts for 2020 that we spoke about a couple of episodes ago, Ryan was one of the few who gave what can only be described as like a cool, calm response to it, saying, give him a chance, let's have a look at it, I want to talk through it, blah, blah, blah. He was basically, he was one of the few who didn't have a hissy fit over it, over what was offered up. He could see that there was some sense behind it in terms of you can't offer what is basically probably the top 30 in each of the regions, the world, the earth. You can't afford to pay for everything for them. So yeah, he's now signed contracts. So I'm assuming Joe mentioned on the Obstacle Racing Media podcast with Matt that he could potentially re-look at the contracts to make the scope a little bit more defined in terms of who they're going to actually be going for and who they're going to be asking to sign these contracts, and maybe do alternate contracts for the real big hitters. And obviously Ryan Atkins is one of those. He's in the top 5 in the world, isn't he? Is basically, if John's there, is silver.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's pretty much guaranteed silver. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. He has got, obviously, being part of the Spartan Pro team, it sort of gets him involved with Craft because they're one of the main sponsors, aren't they? But he's also got contracts with Sunto, Beat Elite, VJ Shoes, which is obviously VJ Sports, which is the makers of IROX. They're one of his sponsors. So yeah, that's positive news, especially for Spartan and their pro team after it went through a bit of a rocky time. It's nice to see Ryan jump on board with them. And
I know we prefer the fun side of OCR, but if you go back a few years and there was a real competitive scene in the UK, there's lots of different teams that would turn up to all the big events. You've got like Muddy Kit Team, Obstacle Kit, Team Innovate, Muddy Race, Mudsticle, RPCC. They all had a group of great athletes. They're like sort of racing after each other, and that's not there anymore, is it, at all? I think that's why it's probably fizzled out, the competitiveness in the UK.
Yeah, we've definitely not got the depth of field in terms of, or the skill. I don't think the skill level's really there either in terms of naturally gifted athletes or cross, because you could pretty much guarantee where Ryan Atkins sits now, it always used to be Ross McDonald in terms of UK racers. So John would be there. John would run with Ross. Rat Race Dirty Weekend, for a good example, it almost seemed a bit cheeky, but it's as if John would run with Ross so that he weren't on his own around 20 miles worth of Rat Race Dirty Weekend course. And then towards end, it'd be like, right, Ross, I need to kick on now. And he'd sort of run off in front. And
yeah,
so
I remember the first beast I went to, and it was John, Ross, Thomas Blank, and that's the first time that Connor came out as well.
It was, yeah. First time Connor was ever at an event, and apparently if the rumours are correct, Connor's coming out of retirement for winter nuts as well.
Be
So
interesting.
that'll be quite cool to see if he does. If in fact that is true, it'll be nice to see him back on scene again, because he is probably one of our number one or number two in terms of the UK. He's head and shoulders above what's around at minute, but things are just changing and evolving so much. OCR's always changing. It's becoming more and more technical, and it's trouble is if you don't keep up with that and you don't keep up with the latest obstacles, you kind of need to know the technique as you run up to it.
Yeah, because you just think if John's going to an event, he's going to win it. If he's not there and Connor is, Connor's going to win it.
Yeah,
And if neither of those two are there, then it's a bit more of an open field and fair. But there's still some that were. I mean, Tristan had a great few years as well, didn't he, with Spartan?
He did. Yeah.
Thomas Blank, sort of 6 years ago, won pretty much every race. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Miniature Frenchman, yeah, we're really
need some new elites in the UK that can challenge the best.
We do. There's a few there. It's as if the competitive spirit's not there because the depth of field's not there. Don't get me wrong, there are some really good runners in the UK, but because there's not that hustle and bustle on the start line like there once was, it's not as if there's 30 of them all battling it out. So it would make, even if John were there and he pretty much guaranteed the first place, you still had the other 9 after him that you were watching closely because you never knew who were going to finish where, because it only took a little mistake or whatever for positions to change. But there's just not that depth of field there of good runners anymore. So it's kind of, at the moment, we're in a position where you know who are going to be in the top 3 because there's only really 3 really good runners turning up to a lot of the races. So it makes it a little bit boring. So each one of them's guaranteed to be on podium, even if they swap in places. It's same three or 4 faces over and over again. But anyway, so that's good. Congratulations to Ryan.
Spartan chat over.
Yeah. Hopefully everything goes well for him with that one. Mud Monsters are adding a colour run to their lineup, which is a little bit different for people. Obviously, Mud Monsters has got a big following. The course is probably one of the muddier ones. It's definitely in the top 5 in UK in terms of natural mud that they get on their land, because they've got like these little pockets of forest that act as like natural mud pits. And they've also ran 4x4 events and things. I think they still do actually on that land, so it churns it up really well. It makes for a really good course, and that one's going to be 5k, ran over a 5k distance on the 19th of June. But they're still going to have obstacles on it, so it'll have 10 obstacles and 4 colour zones on the course. So that's something a little bit different. It's not specifically OCR, but it's something just maybe to get the family involved in.
Branching out a bit. Well, it also gets new people involved, doesn't it? People turn up to a colour and actually doing some obstacles as well.
Yeah.
5 kilometres, I think actually that Mud Monsters was pretty cool. Let's go and do the 10-kilometre obstacle race, and suddenly they're into it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about that, really. That's why we needed Tough Mudder to survive, because they were such an access point for so many people, bringing new people into OCR. Although people saw them as like a threat to all the smaller racers and blah-de-blah, what they didn't realise is they were feeding so many people into the industry in first place for the little racers to tap into it, for them to even be there. Do you know what I mean? So, if that makes sense. But yeah, so next up we have Nuclear are opening up Marshall spots for their rush weekend. Now, this podcast won't go live until Tuesday. It's Sunday evening. This may be old news by then, and the marshalling spots, I know how competitive it is for marshalling spots there, so they might have already gone. It might be sort of pointless news, but just in case, they have opened up marshal spots for the 16th of May, and any of the OCR community listening to this, they've also got some beautiful yellow kit bricks as part of the Marshall rewards and stuff. So what more could you ask for? A little bit of nuclear branding, a little bit of ORM branding. That's it. Perfect. Yellow.
They always look after their marshals, don't they? For nuclear.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Whether it's a dry robe or I think you can get vouchers for the shop. You can get run event. I think you can get event passes, and then obviously now kit bricks as well. So yeah, you definitely get very well rewarded for the time that you put in. But it's a long day. If you go in from maybe, I don't know what time they start in the morning, maybe 7:30 in the morning. And it's a long old day if you do go 7:30 until probably you're not coming off course till maybe 6 p.m. at night.
And if you're not local.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a full shift. Probably if that were me doing that, I have to set off at like 3 o'clock in the morning, if not earlier, to get there in time. And then if I had like a 4-hour trip back as well, it's you're doing a 24-hour stint nearly to do a bit of marshalling for nuclear. But I think it's that's one that always goes quickly, so I don't even know if that'll be there anymore, but I thought I'd open it up to people just in case there are still spots available. That's it for news from me this week. That's all I've got down. Kevin, have you got anything else?
I have nothing extra.
No? Okay, so what we can do then is jump straight into listener mail.
You've got mail.
Right, so one main one, and it's quite a big one. It's quite, how can we describe it? Expansive. So I think it's going to take us a little while to get through this one. So we're only going to need one this week. Right, so hello, Obstacle Race crew. So we're a crew now, Kevin, apparently. Crew. New starter question for you. How on earth do I train for all the unknowns and challenges in obstacle runs? And that's from Eddie Bell. Thanks from Eddie Bell. So I've already made some notes. So I've got ahead of the game on this one, Kevin. You've obviously going to have to do it off the cuff. So I think you ought to give your answers first. What do you think, Kev? So basically, how on earth do I train for all the unknowns and challenges in obstacle runs? So I suppose it'd be good if you could give your top pieces of advice.
As the expert that I am.
As the obstacle elite racer that you are, and obviously you've led the beast. People might not know about that. I'm not sure why they wouldn't, but you're obviously one of the top end.
I wouldn't put myself in that bracket anymore. I think a few years ago maybe, but not anymore, Carl.
Too many pies and cheesecakes. Is that what it is?
But yeah, I was in the same boat one year before I started doing OCR, and I just started off just by going for runs and seeing how far I could go without stopping or without having to walk. The biggest thing, like now I've been in it for a few years, I recommend finding a local boot camp and get into that sort of training. And there's usually other sort of disciplines within that can really help in OCRs. Find yourself a kids' playground, get on the monkey bars.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just try and do it outside of... don't upset any kids by hanging off everything and booting them in head. But yeah, definitely parks. I think we've done an article on parks before, actually, because they are sort of the perfect place to train. And it's somewhere that most people, the majority of people, are going to have available to them. So run down to the park. Most parks have benches around the outside edge. And each bench, they're usually every probably 200 metres or whatever. Each time you pass one of the benches, do a different exercise. So you can use the bench itself or use the bench as a marker. So just do like sit-ups, press-ups, squats, lunges, anything like that, or box jumps onto the bench. Just make sure there's no odd ladies sitting on it, because they probably won't appreciate you jumping up onto the bench outside of them.
Get yourself a used tyre as well from the garage.
Yeah, run round with a tyre.
Yeah.
Because that obviously don't make you look mental at all, running around with a tyre. You look perfectly sane running around your local park. And I'm sure police won't come and ask you what you're doing. But yeah, it's perfect. Definitely, obviously, make sure you're allowed to take that tyre. Make sure it's not got a wheel inside and it belongs to its next door neighbour. Also, end of the day, OCR is still a runner's game. We're still at the point, even though obstacles are becoming more and more technical, it is still a runner's game. They are the ones who are going to be head and shoulders. So that's something that is well worthwhile getting under your belt. Now, we don't just mean like miles and miles and miles. We're not asking you to sort of train for London Marathon, but it is good to make sure you've got some endurance there in tank. But once you've got that, once you've got to say 10K really is the majority of distances that you're going to run at most OCRs. Once you know that you can run 10K nice and easily, I would say, well, I don't think anyone runs 10K nice and easily, actually. That's probably putting it wrong way. Once you can run 10K full stop and it doesn't feel like you're going to die at the end of it, start trying to mix it up from there, because what's different about running an OCR compared to running a normal trail event is it's broken up. So you have to teach your body to basically keep stopping and starting and being able to push your... I don't know, I suppose it's a little bit like swimming. If you go swimming, all your blood rushes to your arms and what have you. And then in triathlons, you've got that, you're getting out of the water and all of a sudden you've got to try and ride a bike and you've got jelly legs and stuff like that. It's kind of teaching your body to adapt to the different obstacles as you're going along. So you're running along and all of a sudden you've got some monkey bars, but your arms are dead because you've been running for so long. So it's in training to try and do your own OCR versions of a triathlon brick session. So keep chucking challenges in along the way, that can be done at a park as well. That breaks up the pace, gets you used to breathing, really pushing hard in between obstacles, and then knowing that you've got like a bit of recovery time while you're taking on that obstacle as well. It's kind of getting your brain around it as well as your body. But like Kevin said as well, boot camp, perfect suggestion, especially if they've got obstacles. If they have got obstacles that you can get on, they will help massively with your mental game when it comes to race day, because you won't be standing on that start line thinking, oh my gosh, what have I let myself in for? Because people who've done loads and loads of events still feel nervous at the start of an OCR because you don't know what you're going to get on the course, because events like to add new challenges and what have you. So if you can get to a boot camp where they've got something like a wall, just so you can practice like the heel hook methods. That's one thing to ask for. Can they teach you how to do the heel hook method on the wall? Because that saves a hell of a lot of energy rather than trying to just muscle your way over it. Because muscling your way over it's perfect if you look like Johnny Bravo, but if you're a slim, maybe like someone who's ran for a lot longer and you've not really got that upper body strength, having something like a heel hook technique in your back pocket ready to go is like massive. It's absolutely, you'll get over it probably faster than people who are trying to muscle up over it. Rope climb.
Depending where in the country you are as well, there are some OCR playgrounds and things as well, aren't there?
Yeah,
Depends about whereabouts you are.
Yeah, and just doing a little bit of research on maybe UK OCR page or in Obstacle Race Magazine community group. Just ask people where places are. There are gyms that will also do it, like indoor gymnastics gyms and things will have ropes and what have you. But learning how to do J-hook on ropes is like a massive thing. Also, trying to teach yourself like a rhythm and technique to doing monkey bars, that'll be a massive help as well. And it just takes away some of that blunt force strength that's needed and adds a little bit of technique in there, so you're not sort of exhausting yourself for no reason. And then on top of all that,
before you turn up to your first race as well, go onto YouTube and have a look at previous events of the same one that you're doing, because a lot of that will be included as well, so you know what to look out for, you know what you need to train for.
Yeah, definitely. Just gives you a little bit more insight. But also grip strength is massive. Grip strength you're going to use in so many different circumstances, whether it's doing like a farmer's carry with buckets or with rec bags, or whether you're hanging from monkey bars or rings, anything like that. Grip strength it's quite a huge part of OCR, so it is good. And it is literally just a case of going down to the park, hanging off goalposts or hanging off the climbing frame, just seeing how long you can hang off for, or if you've got a pull-up bar at home, they're quite good just to hang off and just keep building up your time, how long you're hanging off it for. Like, start it 10 seconds and just work your way up, and after a while you'll just be able to hang there, and you'll probably be able to test yourself in different ways, like hanging a towel over the top is a good method, because you're changing your grip, the type of grip, but you're also changing what you're gripping onto, because it's obviously quite difficult to hold onto a towel.
On the goalpost, I used to bring my legs up as well, and then try and sort of crawl underneath it with your hands and legs, going from one side of the goalpost to the other.
Yeah, just anything, but more importantly, just try and make it as fun as possible, because if you're having fun training, you're going to want to do that training. If you make it so structured that it becomes an absolute nightmare, like anything, it just becomes something you don't want to do. So just have fun doing it, especially if you can get along to any big sessions at local gyms or whatever that are specifically aimed at maybe helping people with this sort of outdoor event. Because BMF, what's BMF now? Is it still BMF but under Bear Grylls?
I think it is, but I think there's been a lot of restructural changes, and some of the park rangers have set up on their own, and some have bought franchises in BMF, and others have gone off to do something else. So
right,
I'm not sure the actual. I think it's still under BMF.
Yeah,
but
so there should still be some sessions
definitely
up and down country in parks.
Yeah, there's boot camps everywhere.
So there, and obviously there's ones that are nothing to do with BMF. They're just the main ones that I just thought of off the top of my head. There's independent ones up and down country, and they're also perfect, because you can never take for granted acclimatization as well, because you're training at different times of year. You're training outside, outdoors, in the same weather that you'll be running in that weekend coming up. So being able to acclimatize to those conditions is like quite a big help as well.
Yeah, and if you're starting from scratch completely as well, things like the Couch to 5K app, they're absolutely perfect. And then onto park run and doing things like that, and just getting out every Saturday morning down to your local park run with your 5K and keep improving on your time. Then you sort of get a bit of an addiction to park run then as well. Especially
if they're competitive like you, Kevin. You like to keep
it's all about the
beating your times, don't you?
Everyone does. Everyone does.
No, I'm not competitive.
You are.
Don't bother me. I'm not. Not like you, Kev. You'd kill yourself to beat someone. And I ain't got that in me. I ain't got that competitive nature.
What, to beat someone, or?
It just doesn't. I just wouldn't. I don't know. Unless if they were a pie or something at the end of it, I might put in a bit more.
Didn't you send me a message? Was it this morning or yesterday about that was competitive nature?
Yeah, but up them steps. The thing would be is I probably wouldn't beat you up on, but I'd get to see you suffer all the way up them steps. It'd be a glorious sight to behold, knowing I'd get there eventually, and you'd probably be a steaming, sweaty mess at the end. It'd just be glorious. It'd be amazing to see.
But I've beat you.
But you'll have beat me. But I'll get to watch you probably covered in your own sick, laying on finish line. So it's all worth it. It's worth that little bit of...
I'll take that.
But yeah, so, right, that's it. That is this week's listener mail. We have got another one, but I'm going to keep that in the bank for next week, because it's another one that's, like I described this one, quite expansive, and I think we will end up talking about it for a while. So if we're quick, we can get this under 30 minutes, Kev. Okay. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for listening in once again to this episode. If you haven't subscribed to Obstacle Race Magazine yet, hurry up and get your subscription in, because they're changing in next couple of days.
Mud 7 prices go up on Sunday. Well, sorry, yes. Sunday they go up by £5, so get payday this week.
Midnight on the 29th, is that?
Yeah, so Saturday night. So on Sunday, the prices will have gone up.
Yeah, so save yourself a £5 there. I think that's about it. That's all we've got. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't done already, to make sure that you're notified when the next episode is available, because we've got another one for you, a special one this week again. We've got a midweek interview for you with someone I think you'll find very interesting indeed. A bit of a peek behind the curtain of the industry. So, Kevin, thank you very much. It's been emotional
again.
Yep, and I shall speak to you again next week.
Speak to you next week. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Bye.